This time of year always make me remember.
Most people envision Christmas as a time to be sitting around the tree with loved ones and opening gifts. It's a time filled with tradition, warmth, and togetherness. I recently asked one of my close friends who has several kids about how he broke the news to his kids about Santa as they got older. What he told me was pretty interesting. He didn't just tell them that Santa was this living, breathing being, but rather a spirit that embodies the essence of Christmas. As you get older, you don't have to stop believing in Santa, you just keep believing in the spirit of Christmas. This spirit of Christmas was about being kind and spending genuine time together with loved ones. It's about creating miracles for those around you to keep that magic alive. I've thought a lot about this over the last month, and it reminded me of a powerful lesson I've carried with me my whole life from one of my all-time favorite shows, Hey Arnold. This show was years ahead of its time and surprisingly touched on so many deep topics for just being a kids show on Nickelodeon. From the unique and quirky characters to the unforgettable jazz music, the show was nothing short of incredible. One episode that really stuck with me over the years was Arnold's Christmas. I think this is the perfect example of keeping the Christmas spirit alive. On a beautiful snowy day, we see the kids of PS 118 joyously running out of school to begin their winter break. Phoebe shares how beautiful the Christmas decorations are around town and asks Helga what her favorite part about Christmas is.
The presents! I'm gonna make a haul this year.
But Helga, Christmas is about giving and sharing.
Helga quickly runs up to a beautiful display of the hottest new fashion trend in town, Nancy Spumoni snow boots. They're the most desired item, which becomes a crucial detail later on in the story. We later see our main character Arnold talking with his best friend Gerald about Christmas. Helga sees them from afar and starts to devise a plan on what she should get him for Christmas.
Something big and flashy. Something that'll impress him and make him pine for me the way I pine for him.
Arnold arrives home to the boarding house with many others he considers family, and they initiate a secret Santa drawing.
Go ahead, everybody. Pick a random name from the ball.
Arnold pulls Mr. Wynn and immediately is challenged with what meaningful gift he could potentially get him. Gerald later shares that he should just get him a tie, but Arnold feels that this is a bit too impersonal and forced. He genuinely wants to give him something special. Arnold mentioned that Mr. Wynn is always kind of sad around this time of year, so he wants to get him a gift that will actually help keep the spirit of Christmas alive.
Why don't you just go talk to him? Yeah, I'll just go talk to him.
He talks to him and is immediately met with resistance and deflecting. Mr. Wynn lies and says he's fine, but Arnold persists.
This time of year always make me remember.
Mr. Wynn shares his tragic life story. He had a beautiful baby girl and regularly dreamed of their future together.
There was a trouble in my country. There was a war in the north, so I decided we must try to get out.
He ran to the roof of the American embassy with people begging to be taken to safety. The military pilots only had room for one more person.
As soon as I could, I would get out of the country and find her again.
Mr. Wynn tells Arnold it took him nearly 20 years until he could leave the country to come home to this city where his daughter was taken. He's been searching for her nonstop.
Sometimes it is so difficult. I almost give up hope.
Arnold naturally wants to help Mr. Wynn find his daughter, yet Gerald is skeptical given the massive size of the city. We cut over to Helga, still struggling on what to get Arnold.
What would Arnold want for Christmas?
Somewhere in this building is the information we need to find Mr. Wynn's daughter.
Arnold's research led them to find a man who may have the ability to help them keep the spirit of Christmas alive, Mr. Wynn. They meet Mr. Bailey, who tells them that he's touched by their story, but he's just far too busy to do anything about it. He says it could take him days to find Mai, but they'd be better off just letting it go and celebrating with everyone down the hall since it's Christmas Eve. As the boys are leaving Mr. Bailey's office, they overhear that he's pretty swamped with work and he hasn't been able to do any of his Christmas shopping yet. This inspires them to propose a trade.
What if Gerald and me did your Christmas shopping for you? Huh?
What? I'm gonna trust you, kid?
He hands the money to the boys and tells them he'll help if and only if they can get every last item on the list. Arnold and Gerald run around town to help accomplish all of this, but they eventually run into a massive hurdle. They need to find Nancy Spumoni snow boots, the most popular Christmas item this year that everyone was in awe over earlier in the episode. When we revisit Helga's Christmas journey, she thinks that she's found the perfect gift for Arnold. She asks the boys if they think someone would be happy if they received this game.
Well, I don't know, Helga. Basically, it's kind of an expensive, flashy gift.
Arnold and Gerald continue the hunt for Nancy Spumoni snow boots and are met with laughter and denial. They're sold out everywhere, and this seems like an impossible task. They rush back to the government office to inform Mr. Bailey of their efforts.
No snow boots, no deal.
Feeling completely defeated, Arnold reflects on the entire situation with Gerald.
A miracle, I guess. You did all right, man.
After Helga overhears everything, she returns home to her celebrating family. Her mother Miriam said she stood in line for 18 hours to get one of the last pairs available. Helga was ecstatic and began to celebrate outside. She finally got one of the things she wanted more than anything: Nancy Spumoni snow boots.
I could give them up and give Arnold what he wants, but then I wouldn't have anything.
Helga decides to run over to Mr. Bailey's office, and luckily she catches him as he's leaving for the night. She urges him that they have a missing person to find and that they should do whatever it takes to find her. Mr. Bailey refuses and shares that it's Christmas Eve. He wants to go home to his family and give his wife what gifts he does have for her. Helga pushes back and says Christmas isn't about getting gifts or focusing on what you want. It's about a funny, football-headed kid and his worldview being at stake.
Leave now. That little football-headed kid will never believe in miracles again.
The episode cuts back to the boarding house family the morning of Christmas, and we see everyone exchanging gifts. Grandpa notices that there isn't a gift under the tree for Mr. Hyunh. Mr. Hyunh says it's okay, and Arnold tries to explain everything as we hear the doorbell ring.
Father?
My?
For the first time in over 20 years, Mr. Hyunh is reunited with his daughter Mai. He's completely shocked at the surreal moment and proudly introduces her to the boarding house family. As joy exudes through the room, the boys remain puzzled as to exactly how this all played out.
Don't try to make sense out of it, Arnold. A miracle's a miracle.
Merry Christmas, Arnold.
Helga's sacrifice was the very definition of keeping the spirit of Christmas alive. She gave the thing she cared about the most to somebody she cared about and helped create a miracle without expecting any credit for her noble efforts. The boots were initially given to Helga as an example of materialism, but they were a much deeper gift than initially expected. Helga's mother Miriam is an alcoholic who's often depicted in the show as neglectful and aloof. She had a wholesome moment of clarity when she remembered what Helga wanted and thought it was an important enough thing to stand in line for 18 hours to go get it. Helga didn't just give away some expensive Nancy Spumoni snow boots. She sacrificed a rare token of her mother's love, which is very sad for her, but makes what she did for Arnold that much more beautiful. Since Helga was a young kid, Arnold was a source of endless kindness and empathy to her. He showed her a love that she didn't experience at home. He showed her grace when others picked on her. This episode was a great full circle moment when Helga was able to return the favor in such a wholesome way, protecting the childhood light within Arnold that she so deeply admires all these years later. What an absolutely brilliant episode. Wow, I was totally taken back, even as a kid. There's a few details here that make this even more gut-wrenching when you dig a little bit deeper. Mr. Hyunh's voice actor was actually a Vietnamese refugee and experienced the horrors of the Vietnam War. Mr. Hyunh's performance felt so real because it actually was. Thousands of Vietnamese citizens begged American soldiers to take their children to safety via helicopter during the war. They knew they weren't going to make it, but They hoped for a better life for their children. What an absolute tragedy to reflect on as we imagine the pain Mr. Wynn had to endure all those years, and how powerful to see him find Mai. Another fascinating detail here is that the episode was actually going to be canceled. Nickelodeon executives worried that children wouldn't care about the Vietnam War, deeming it inappropriate and uninteresting for the target audience. One executive showed his son a rough cut of the episode, and he curiously asked about Vietnam, wanting to learn more about the history of it all. Even with children unfamiliar with these events, the story still evoked emotion and curiosity. This saved the episode from being canceled. We shouldn't underestimate the power of good storytelling in history. Once you stop believing in the spirit of Christmas, something quietly disappears. You start taking people for granted. You lose your sense of creativity, and the world starts to feel a bit heavier than it needs to be. But the magic doesn't disappear because we grow up. It disappears when we stop trying. If we want to keep the spirit of Christmas alive, not just in December, but all year long, it starts by creating miracles for others, no matter how small. If you found this video helpful, any support would be greatly appreciated. I want to give a special shout out to the biggest channel supporters: Aaron Freneck, Erica, Carolina, Nick Olmedo, Sunny Sue, and Tony Martinez. I seriously can't overstate how grateful I am for you guys and all the support you provided for this community. Thank you so much. Remember to take care of yourselves, remember to take care of those around you, and for all things psychology to help you think, feel, and perform better, stay tuned right here on Psychology of Living.